Hi everybody. Today I'm going to show you how to use double clicking to open up various tracks in various modes so that you can see them quickly. The first, perhaps, and most obvious one is if you simply double click anywhere in a track group. It could be on an item or in a blank spot of the track group. So for example, here on an item or here in blank spot or over here on the left side. If I double click in any one of those spots, as you can see, it opens up all of the child tracks, all of the inner tracks of the track group. Double click again, closes them. Again, it can be in an empty spot. It can be in the left-hand panel. That double click also will switch groups for you. So if I have destination group selected and I want to select S4 and I want to open it at the same time, I just double click in source 4, the purple one, double click, and that brings that one to the top and shows the whole thing open. If I double click it again, it closes it up. So the double click by itself opens all the media tracks. Now there's two types of tracks, actually three in a sense. One is media, another is folder tracks. The folder tracks don't contain media, the media tracks do. The folder tracks are used to create the hierarchy. For automation, you can automate either an individual media track or a folder track. So I have a third command for toggling the automation tracks, which may include some media tracks and some folder tracks. So when you want to toggle the automation tracks, automation is only used in the destination. So I'll select the destination group here. And then if I do command double click, that toggles open all of the automation tracks, namely all the tracks that have automation envelopes on them defined. If I command double click again, it closes it. And again, you can do that on an item, in the blank space, or on the left side of the track. Now, for this command, you can't switch groups simultaneously. So if you command double click in another track group while the destination group is selected, it'll still just open the destination group. So command double click, even though I clicked down below, it still opened the automation tracks of the destination. The other command is to show the folder tracks, and this one is like the one for automation tracks. It only works on the currently selected group. So if I do option double click, now it's showing me all the folder tracks. And if I do option double click again, it closes it up. Again, you can do it on the item, in the blank part of the track, or on the left side of the track. But it won't switch track groups. So if I do option double click down here, it still opens up the destination folders. Now if I'm selected into the fourth group, so if I first click to select source group 4 and then do option double click, that will then open the folders of that group because that's a selected one. Okay, so those three commands, double click, command double click for automation tracks, option double click for group tracks. Those commands are also in the navigation menu under show hide tracks, media, folder, and automation. So there's also keystrokes for those. But the double clicks are quite convenient. The other command that has a keystroke but can be done with double click is children in mixer, which is also shift command H. Now, let me show this one to you. If we open up the mixer, REAPER has an innate function which if you double click on a track, it opens up the children of that track that you clicked on. So let's say I look at the woodwinds here. Double click. There's all the woodwinds. Flute, oboe, clarinet, bassoon. Double click, it closes them. But if you do shift double click, that's a Cohler function, and what that does is it opens the entire hierarchical tree down to the bottom leaf. So for example, if I double click on edit mix, it closes it up. That's the REAPER function. If I shift double click to open it, it's now opening all of the tracks all the way down the hierarchy. And if I shift double click on edit mix again, it closes them all up to the children. If you want to close then the children itself, you double click edit mix. But shift double click opens the entire hierarchy. Now that's a little bit hard to see here, so let me show it to you on a simpler one. I'll close that up and I'll shift double click strings. So now you see you have strings, violin 1, and then the 3 violin 1 mics, violin 2, 3 violin 2 mics, etc. If I were to double click on violin 1, it would close just those 3 mics. But shift double click on strings closes up all the children all the way. Shift double click on strings opens all the children all the way down. So that's about it. You have double click, you have shift double click in the mixer. In the what's called the arrange view or the track view here, you can double click for media tracks. You can command double click for automation tracks. And you can option double click for the group folder tracks. So that is all there is to double clicking in Cohler Classical. Everything you need to do is just one click away.